You are listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast. I'm Elena Paweta, Executive Communication Coach and TEDx organizer. With each episode, I'll share with you communication tips and ideas from top business leaders to help you excel in your career. Welcome to the next episode of Ideas and Leaders podcast. Today, my guest is Lana Ivanova. She's a communication coach, she's a business trainer and TEDx speaker's mentor. And we're going to speak about confidence in public speaking and also speaking in English as a second language and getting confidence in that. Hi, Lana. It's great to have you on the podcast.
Hello, Elena. Thank you for having me.
So, Lana, can you tell us a little bit about your story? How did you get to become so confident and in communication and also in teaching others how to speak with confidence?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Actually, I love when people ask, tell about your story, not simply, tell us, what do you do? And I'm a big fan of some curious questions, not the usual ones like, where are you from? What do you do? And you have to tell your story. And I think that's awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I always ask about stories because it is so interesting to actually see how people get to where they are right now. Because if I ask, what do you do? And it is just, I'm doing this and that. So it is not interesting, but it is interesting to know how people get to where they are.
Yeah, to dig deeper a little bit into the stories. That's true. So if to tell about me and to tell my story, right now, as you said, I am communication coach and I help people to speak up, to defreeze their English speaking. And previously, I was not doing that at all. But I can say that part of my story is the fact that I've rebuilt my life twice thanks to English language. Like I was supposed to start my professional career twice, like once again, in the new country, and was able to do that thanks to English. And that. And many years ago, I moved to Ukraine from Russia, and I was supposed to do something new, and everything like the most valuable tool I had in my hands was English. I was interpreter, and I used it to rebuild my career in the new country. And then 8 years ago, it happened again in Poland. Then I moved from Ukraine to Poland, and thanks to English, I again started to building my professional life again now as a consultant, because from Ukraine I came already as organizational consultant, and somehow throughout all my career I've been dealing with some issues which were connected with creating captivating talks, speeches, presentations, workshops, and I was really curious about that area, how it is done. When that were the first steps for me as a consultant, I had a lot of fears. I was not confident at all. That imposter syndrome we all have, like many of us have. So it was there. And at some moment of the time, I just switched from being a consultant to more private area, to personal area. I started to work with people, supporting them in creating their speeches, talks, just getting really smooth and defreezed when speaking English. And I can say that, like, for me, it is great to work with people who are non-natives, and I mostly work for them. Like, this is the value I bring, and I'm just amazed with what can happen to a person who speaks English as a second, third, or fourth even language sometimes. Then he or she gets these additional tools in his hands or mouth.
Yes, I really love what you said, that it is that we often have this imposter syndrome, and you also had it at a certain point in your career, and I also had it as well. I think that many people can relate to this, many people who are listening to us, because people who feel very confident and who say that, oh, it is not a problem, I'm super confident, I don't need to prepare. In fact, very often they are not so confident inside. So it is very important to be able to open up about your insecurities and tell that, okay, I'm not so confident in, for example, speaking in English or speaking in public, and to admit it, and also to be able to learn and to go step by step to practice it. So as you are working with your clients on this, I'm sure that you will answer yes to my question, but I wanted to ask you, so do you think it is possible, actually possible, to learn how to become more confident, and how can we do this?
Yeah, this is a great one. This is ultimate goal. It is possible. It is possible. I'm the living example of that. I think I'm still sometimes I'm a little bit there. That depends on my audience. If I would have like a huge audience in front of me, that may probably kick in again. But it's totally possible. I believe in that. And, overall, I would love to create, like my goal would be even to create the community of people who are bold and awesome English speaking non-native imposters. Because, we cannot be perfect. Like in anything we do, we cannot be perfect at all. And so all we can do is to get in peace with the level of our competence, I would say. And, just to go for our goals with the tools we have. And whether it would be English language or great public speaking skills, I combine these two for people. So this is my magic, what I do. And so we just need to grab that tools and implement our goals. For example, what I did in my life, I was able to work in consulting industry in English, not being a native speaker. And at one moment of time, this is one of the tools, by the way. This is a good key how to do that. I was able to switch from my insecurities, thinking about myself, into thinking about the value I bring to people and like what I'm doing here. I'm doing that workshop or that session, and what is the real value? What I aim to have in the end of the day, what these people leave that room with. And this is the best thing to do, to grab the tools you have for now and switch your focus, thinking about the goal you want to achieve. And if to take some specific example for anyone, if you are making any public appearances, think about your audience, think about your goal. What do you want them to do, think, consider when you are leaving the stage? So that would be the good thing to do.
Yeah, that's definitely a great tip, to focus on the audience, to focus on their needs, not on how do we look and how do we speak and so on and so on. So, but for those people who are non-native speakers, you said that you're working mostly with non-native speakers.
Yes.
For those for whom English is a second, third language, and they don't feel very confident in it. So what would you recommend them to do, to maybe to practice, to become more free in expressing themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I just recently I finished I have a course on that, like the whole course, and it is Speaker Defreeze course, and I have several points there, and I can just, if to be short, like clear, concise, and short, I would always suggest to improve your skill, like in any possible way. whether it would be a public speaking skill or English speaking skill. And there are different tracks to do so. For example, for better English speaking, I would suggest to speak a lot, because we need to have that physical fluency together with the mental fluency in speaking foreign language. So I would suggest to practice a lot, to speak as much as possible, to communicate with people, be somewhere where you can speak a lot. If you have nobody to speak to, do self-talk. There is a tool which is called self-talk. You can talk when you're home alone, just talk. There are some tools like shadowing as well. So you can take any videos you like on YouTube, for example, or you can listen to Elena's wonderful podcast, for example, Ideas and Leaders. And, to listening to English speakers, you can repeat after them what you hear. And, by this practice, and the more you practice, the better you get, your English gets smoother, and you're sort of unblocked and defreezed in that matter. As for the public speaking in English, again, if to say shortly, there are 3 areas I would suggest to be ready all the time. First area is to know what you would be speaking about. So know your topic. This may sound obvious. Sometimes, it is said that trainers, so I'm a trainer, when I've been studying, like trainer is supposed to know almost 10 times more than he or she is going to tell, right? So know what you're going to tell, like know your topic, and not by heart. So I never recommend my clients to learn anything by heart, only key points, and just be knowledgeable. The second point is to be ready with the visual part. And visual part, starting with your slides, your tech, your equipment, and even going to your looks. How do you look like? And the most important point here is for you to be comfortable. This is 1, 2. And third point would be, how do you feel inside? So to get comfortable, to get in peace, and use different techniques for that as well, like breathing techniques, or some exercises as well. You can do some exercises to get, in a better emotional state. Some people use meditations, power posing. So there are a lot of different tools, but and you need to choose tools for yourself. But if I would say how to get confident, for example, in speaking in public in foreign language, in English, mostly I help. So to know what you will be thinking about, to be ready with your visual part, like connected with every point your audience will see, and be ready with your emotional part, like prepare yourself somehow to be in a great, calm, relaxed, and energized mood.
So, Lana, you mentioned your course, Public Speaking Defreeze, right? So can you tell us a little bit more? What are the elements of this defreeze? Maybe we can get inspired to defreeze ourselves, or maybe to sign up for your course.
Yeah, thanks for asking. That is a Public Speaking Defreeze course. Like, this is the goal. To help people to get rid of stage fright and that anxiety. And this is Speaker Defreeze course. And why I decided to do something like that. I'm a communication coach and business trainer. And I do a lot of trainings. I do some trainings for companies. And when I come, for example, I may come to the company and make training on storytelling. And all the time, like I can make training on presenting on camera, but all the time, people ask me, but how to be confident? Like, all this is good, thank you so much. But we have a question, and that question is there all the time. Like, I'm not feeling comfortable, how to, to relax, to be fully here and now when I present, and so on and so forth. So in one moment of the time, I decided the course to be. And I came up with the idea of that course because anyway, I've been all the time in my trainings adding this short part where I've been telling people how to get ready for public speaking in order not to feel, like, oh, I'm so afraid. Yes, and this Speaker Defreeze course, this is a 4 week course, and I have 4 modules in it. And each module actually is like guidance for your listeners as well. You can listen right now. I will mention the guide, like the modules, and you'll think, and what these parts can be what I can put into these parts like tools for me. And you can gather together your own system how to get ready for any public speaking appearance. When I'm doing that course, I am telling like, we are gathering your puzzle of confidence. So the first module is about goals, big goals and small goals. So for example, big goal would be what kind of speaker do you see yourself? What kind of presenter, leader, delivering the message, motivating people you are? And small goals, meaning you need to have a goal for every speaking gig you have. Like anytime, think about the goal first. So second module is about preparation, like preparing and prepare and practice. So preparation and preparing, how to gather everything together, how many times you need to repeat your presentation, what tools to use, how to practice. Do you need to learn by heart script, or you can have just an outline? The answer is only outline, only structure, or mind map, anything. So never learn by heart. And so that would be prepare and practice part, how to get ready. And the third part is relax and energize. This is the third module. Absolutely crucial points. Like, Elena, do you know when we feel the most nervous while speaking in public? When do we feel like the most out of our mind?
When? Maybe before going out.
Yeah, just before, and first like 1-2 minutes into starting the presentation or speech. This is the worst. And that is why knowing that you can get yourself ready for these few minutes, and that would be crucial. So for example, I always tell that you can use some breathing techniques. You can engage your body. You can shake your body a little bit. And you sometimes what is not obvious, I will tell it to your listeners now. Sometimes people think I need to run, to jump, just to get some cardio activity. I don't think so. I very often suggest some static exercises. I don't know, squats, something like that, to get ready just before the talk. Yeah, so how to relax and energize yourself, how to get ready for the talk. That would be the third module in my course, and the fourth part is visualize. Like that is a great tool. You can visualize yourself doing that presentation successfully. And our mind do not distinguish between a reality and really good movie we create for ourselves inside. And by this, and there are a lot of researchers in the sports area, that by practicing in your mind, you are almost practicing in reality. So I include that part there. And also one more additional thing, and this is something which is not obvious, but I also use emotional freedom technique now in the course. This is like a short exercise that you can do. And you can have it in audio or in video to get yourself ready in a few minutes as well for the talk. So these are 4 parts of my Speaker Defreeze course: goals, big and small goals, prepare and practice, then relax and energize part, and then the part with visualizing the best outcome. Yes, best outcome and how you are doing the talk perfectly. Yeah.
I love the structure of your course, because I think that it has so many elements that are not obvious for people, because usually when we think, okay, I need to prepare my business presentation, what do? I open my PowerPoint and I prepare my slides. So this is the preparation for us, but we never think about how to relax, how to visualize, what goals do we have? Why are we giving this presentation? So I think that those elements are so crucial, especially for business presenters. So do you think that we can apply those elements also for business PowerPoint presentations?
Absolutely. Elena, I had a case. I'm also a TEDx, as you mentioned, TEDx speakers mentor, and I had a case with one of my TEDx speakers I've been supporting in getting ready for the stage. And, it was so curious. Like she said, I very often go to the conferences. I have my PowerPoint behind me, and I just go with the slides like one by one. But here I cannot do it. And for example, TEDx talks. What do they represent? Very often they represent one of the best possible versions of speaking to public, being an engaging and captivating speaker. And why don't we aim for that in business as well? Because that is the best way to motivate people, to influence them, to persuade them, not to rely only on PowerPoint. People sometimes are so much struggling with that PowerPoint. Do you know, like, then there is a presentation with PowerPoint. Sometimes you can just see where people are looking at, and they can look at very often to the left bottom part of the screen, like, how many slides should I survive more? But why we should torture ourselves with PowerPoint when instead we can tell some stories, or we can bring up curious examples, or we can be in touch with our audience. The problem of PowerPoint, if we rely only on that, and you're absolutely right, people very often do prepare like that. 80% of the time, they prepare their PowerPoint presentation. What I would suggest to change the ratio and think how you can be in touch with your audience, how you can engage, interact, get them into the discussion, and get them on board with your message in business as well. So that would be my answer. Let's get rid of too much PowerPoint, which sometimes doesn't have power or point.
Yes, absolutely. I love this. I love this saying, because we focus on it too much, but we need to think about our message first, how to connect with the audience, how to be more relaxed, maybe how to be more prepared as a speaker, not rely on technology, because many things can happen, and sometimes slides do not work, which for me, it happened a couple of times that somehow slides did not work, and I just had to present or to give a training that I prepared, and I did it without the slides. So we need to be prepared for such situations, definitely not to be lost and not saying anything.
Yeah.
So and what are some of the ways that you recommend how we can relax ourselves more for those people who are extremely nervous? Because I know some people, their hands are shaking, their face turning red, they forget everything. And in such cases, we are not being able to focus on the audience, to focus on the message. So what can we do to relax more, to be more calm and confident?
This is really common, and so also great you're thinking about that. And when I've been talking to my group recently in the course, I started with the point that actually majority of people do feel that stress and anxiety when speaking in public. Simply, some of us manage somewhere across the way to deal with these, to decrease these in some portions. And but overall, first of all, you need to know, like, you're not alone. A lot of people feel that. And few curious facts. So the first fact, a lot of people feel it. I think 75% are believed to be like that. And second point is, that you can definitely do something with that, also on physical level. This is a natural reaction also because of our regions and this is not the best thing for our ancestors, like many million years ago, to go in front of people, to be outside the tribe. Yes, we do not like that, like inside. So we can tweak a little bit our body, and telling our body we are in a great situation to be. We can do that, for example, with breathing techniques. I'm a big fan of different breathing techniques, and I think everyone can choose something for themselves. Like, for example, in my course, also, when I work with people and I prepare them, I suggest the following techniques. So first, that would be my favorite one, box breathing. Then you breathe, let's say, alongside the sides of the box, and just a square. Then you breathe in and you hold your breath, and everything for 4 counts. You hold your breath and you breathe out, and then you hold your breath again for 4 counts. So, and I also use diaphragmatic breathing, and like a cake breathing. This is exercised by one of my wonderful colleagues, and I like it a lot. Like a cake, then you just stand straight and you sort of try to eliminate big cake candles, like 60 or 50 or 60 of candles, and you want to take them all the fires away with one great and powerful breath out. So, and yeah, so breathing techniques, some physical techniques as well, because we have that hormone adrenaline when we are in that unpleasant situation of anxiety, of state of anxiety. And we can also treat our body a little bit, adding some of the exercises. And I suggest static exercises, maybe plank or squat. So not like something from cardio part. And we can shake our body, like to shake everything out. And I would suggest to do that like even 5 minutes before you go on stage, a short round of these exercises, and you can pick themselves like this exercise for you. Also, a great exercise is to tense and release. Tense and release, meaning you can tense very tightly all your muscles in the body, like all of them, and then release. Or you can go with a group of muscles, just one group by another group, and just go from one group to another. Even, if you use only your wrists, and this can help, just like this, very tightly, and then relax. And then you're relaxed and just feel to the very core that feeling of relaxation and relief. So I would suggest to check different techniques, like breathing techniques, physical techniques for yourself, and choose what's the best for you, and came up with a system. What is your system? What do you do 15 minutes before you go on stage? What do you do 5 minutes before you go on stage? And of course, be ready, like one more additional point, but this is like from the part of prepare and practice. Always know your opening. Closing as well, but opening for the low stress benefit for sure. So that is it. I would suggest to come up with a system for you and use that system all the time. Then you have any public appearances.
Yes, I really love those tips, and I don't know what about our listeners, but I definitely started breathing deeper as you were speaking about breathing exercises, and now I feel more calm and relaxed, and it really works. I think that we need to remind ourselves from time to time that it is important that we need to breathe. And yes, and even in not only when we're speaking or presenting, but also, when we are just working and we are stressed, we are in kind of stressful situation, or I know we're driving a car and we are in a traffic jam. So those breathing techniques, they really, really work. So if we show our body that we're not in danger, that we are in a good, pleasant situation, then we will be less nervous. So thank you very much for those tips. I think they're very valuable for our listeners. So to sum up what we discussed, Lana, can you give our listeners several tips, especially to those for whom English is not the first language, who are not so confident about speaking. So what do you recommend them to do? How to practice to be more confident?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. First of all, I would suggest to practice, of course, and also, I've been telling you about all the tips, Elena. I came up with a thing which I all the time have in my mind. So yes, we can gather a lot of tips, and we can gather tools and build a system for. You can build a system for you in order to feel more confident every time, and at the same time, this will work well for you when you practice, you have a system and you implement it. But you know what works the best?
What?
Knowing yourself, like why you're doing that overall, and this is like going to the ultimate goal. Like this is all great to have a lot of tips, techniques, and everything. But if you have the goal in mind, you want to pursue, and you pursue, and you will be like fully focused on that goal, just to have it, just to understand what do you want to achieve, and to put it clearly in front of yourself and go there. So this is the great thing to have in mind, whether that would be a short time goal in 3 months, or maybe in 3 years, in 5 years. So what is your goal, and what are you going to strive to achieve? For example, I also work with my clients. We create such a thing like signature talk together. And when creating it, we start to dig really deeper into what's your main message, why you're doing what are you doing, and what do you want to bring to people. And that is like the best possible thing to come up with, to understanding yourself, your goal, and your value. What do you bring to people? As in every presentation, I always suggest to focus on that value, shift the focus, think about what you bring to people. And you can think about that in long-term perspective as well. So what is your value? What is your message? What is your main topic? What do you want to achieve? And thinking about that, this is the best thing to go, Of course, you will have already suitcase with tools. But if you have that ultimate goal for yourself, that is fantabulous.
Yes, it is so important to actually know who we are, and also how do we want to show up? What do we want people to say about us? How do we want people to perceive us? I think that those elements, they give a lot of tools to ourselves. If we think about it, if we analyze what we want to achieve, that it is really so important. So thank you so much, Lana, for all your tips. I'm sure that it is so valuable for our listeners. If they want to get to know about your course or reach out to you on social media, where can they find you?
Thank you, Elena, for inviting me. And if anyone wants to get in touch with me, I would suggest to go to my Instagram account, because I'm pretty much active, mostly there. But you can also go to my website, and my Instagram handle is lana.iva.nova, Lana Ivanova. And you can go also to my website, which is Lana Ivanova with one word.com. So, and I will be happy to get in touch with you if you were curious about the tools or anything, how to defreeze yourself. And thank you so much for your podcast, Elena, as well, because sometimes I listen to the episodes of your podcast, and this is, some workshop for me or coaching session. So I just grab some techniques, and that is wonderful. What are you doing here, inviting different experts? So thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening. And now also your expertise will also be on Ideas and Leaders and stay there as an episode. Thank you so much, Lana. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you so much, Elena. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast. Did you enjoy this episode? Let me know that you listened by tagging me in your LinkedIn profile and using a hashtag Ideas and Leaders. See you in the next episode.